Hi, Dennis.
Hey, Penny, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh,
I'm
that's awesome. Can
doing
you hear
amazing.
Alexa? Do you hear Alexa in the background?
I did hear Alexa. I got to be careful. I do the same thing. I'm talking to people, and I'll use that as an example, and the phone starts talking to me.
Uh-huh. Alexa's telling me it's time to feed the cat. As if we need a reminder to feed a cat. My cat, anytime we go into the kitchen, he thinks it's time to eat. So he just stands at the pantry ready to eat. So I'm
Oh,
hoping that somebody in the kitchen can reset that alarm and take care of that for me.
my cat comes to the door and actually sounds like he's saying hello, and he will say it in a very deep, echoey tone, and you'll hear hello, hello, and that's time to eat first thing in the
That
morning.
is creepy. Creepy. Nope. That's awesome. I need to learn to reset it. Anyways, here's a live video. This is what happens on live videos sometimes. We have Alexa. It's good to see you, Dennis. Me and you connected on LinkedIn a few months ago, and we had a talk, and we just enjoyed our talk.
Yes.
If we lived anyways near each other, I know we'd be in the same networking groups, and we'd probably be playing cards. And I heard,
Yes.
I think just talking to you is really fun. One of the things that I love working with kingdom minded business owners, and
Mm.
I know that you are a kingdom guy. If anybody has ever read your LinkedIn profile, it's obvious. You make no bones about it. You are certified as a John Maxwell coach, right?
Right?
And
Correct.
actually met him one time, right?
Yes, he's amazing. Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, all of us in leadership have read a John Maxwell book at some point or another. And if you haven't, you need to. You've forgotten, yeah, you've left behind some of the greatest leadership material of all time. So, yeah, he's forgotten more about leadership than most of us will ever know. But
Mm.
it's so good to have you here, Dennis.
Penny, thank you for having me. It's so good. And, John, one of the things that people tell you is don't meet your heroes. That's not true with John Maxwell. Meeting him and getting to spend time with him in different ways. He exactly how he is on stage or how he is in conferences. I mean, he's that way in person too, and just he's amazing. My word for the year is imitate. I want to imitate him.
Oh, I like that. Do you have a word for every year?
I do. I do. I've
And
been doing that
and
for
have you been
many
praying
years.
about that and the Lord gives that to you, or is there a different system or?
Yes, I follow the one. There's a system out there by John Gordon, Dan Britton, and Jimmy Page. They co-authored a book called One Word. It's a great book, and you can read it in an hour and a half, and it takes you through the process of helping you discover your one word. And there is that faith focus, that prayer focus of allowing the word to come to you, not you going to the word. And so praying through that word jumped out at me, just like it just came right to me multiple times at the same day, and I knew right away that's the word.
That's good. I've never heard somebody have the word imitate. I've heard all the other one words for the new year, but imitate, I like that. That's really good because Paul said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And so we are called to imitate each other as we imitate Christ. That is a biblical principle. So I love that.
First
Um,
Corinthians 11:1. That is the verse underneath my word.
that's awesome. I didn't know where it is. I just know it's in there.
Well, I wrote the reference down my card. Literally, it's right here. I look at it every day, so
That's good.
so I
That's
could
good.
glance down and take a peek.
I know as leaders that that verse can weigh heavy on us sometimes.
That's true.
Because I know that I don't have it all together, and to think that there's people that are looking at me and want to imitate me, But as leaders, I think that it's important to realize all we're called to do is imitate Christ. We don't have to have it all together. He had it all together, but we're not called to have it all together. We're just called to imitate him. So that's
Right.
every day. That's my goal every day.
That's right. Everybody's being watched,
Yep.
and as leaders, people do what people see. John says, and I
Mhm.
see that. You could. My parents used to say, "Do as I say, not as I do." I heard that many times as a kid, but It's
That doesn't
really
work.
people do what people see, and so they're watching you at all time. And leaders, that is a heavy burden to carry, but that comes with the price. It comes with the tag.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm so excited to talk to you today. I want to, me and you, like, our passions intersect, and some people don't think it does. And so when I talk to coaches like you, I love it because I want to talk about emotional intelligence. I want to talk about, because I know what you're talking to your clients about is
Mm,
emotional intelligence. You're talking to them about delegating. You're talking to them about, so today specifically, I
mm,
want to get into how does an entrepreneur take time off? And so you and I talked about the need for time off. I was able to take a whole week off in December, and I thought that was pretty good because I've only been in this. I've only owned this business about a year,
mm.
and I've read the statistics. Like, burnout is real in the first year because you're just grinding, trying to figure things out. But me and my husband, we were determined to take a week off. I turned off the phones. I told all my clients, "I love you. Have a great week. I'm going to be gone. I have a team that will be here to help you." And so let's talk. Let's just dive in, if it's okay with you,
Yeah.
and let's talk about, like, what are the magical things that have to align. Is it necessary for an entrepreneur to take off? Do you talk about that in your coaching sessions? Do you talk about rest and relaxation, and, like, how to recharge and how to take care of themselves? And
I do. That's a great question, and I do, and I talk about it from the term I use is white space. Finding that
Mhm.
white space on your calendar, white space in your week. From a faith perspective, God rested on the seventh day. I mean, so
Yep.
from a faith perspective, there's your example. Imitate that. Imitate taking time off. Maybe you can't take a full day off. Okay, take some time off, because what I found is entrepreneurs love they love what they do. They love the highs. They love the lows. And they love what they do, and they'll do it all day long and keep going and going. And it's like driving a Lamborghini, a high sports car, and not taking the time to do any maintenance.
Yeah.
And eventually you crash and burn, or you just run out of gas. And there you are. You're just you've hit the burnout. You've hit the wall. And
Yeah.
and at that point, if your finances aren't solid in your business and you hit that burnout, it can hit harder than you realize.
Yeah. Yeah. You call it white space. Some people call it margin.
Yes.
So in the financial world, we would talk about margin, and, like, in your personal finances, you need margin.
Hmm.
You can't be running you can't be spending every single dollar. Now, you should name every dollar, but you can't be spending every single dollar. So you need to create margin in your finances, but
Mm,
absolutely imperative that you create margin in your calendar. And
yes.
a lot of people, I know that they use the blocking method where they
Mhm.
block their calendar. And I've gotten, so talk to me about that. I've gotten accidentally caught up where I blocked every single hour of the day, and I had something in every hour, even if it was like read a book, like, I blocked that. But
Yeah.
then I discovered that, like, that was wearing on me too, because then I have no, like, if somebody calls me out of the blue and says, "You want to go have coffee?" Well, I don't have margin. How do we balance that?
Well, it's looking at the margin. If you're going to read a book in that margin, it's also knowing your priorities.
Yeah.
So, in that margin space, what's the most important things to do in that margin? Sometimes it's doing absolutely nothing, like you described with your week off. Sometimes it's, you know what? I realize I need that 1 minute just before we got on here. I plugged in my app that I use to just kind of get centered. It's called the Pause app.
Yeah.
And I just take a minute to just pause and be present in the moment, just kind of let everything that's running through the chaos, to let the nuclear cloud settle, so I can be present. And
Hmm.
that's something that you could do for margin. Some
Yeah.
people, exercise is where they need that margin. I put in my margin time to go walk down the street to get mail. I get to kill two birds with one stone. I get the mail, and I get a little bit of exercise, and I can hear the birds and practice some of those present moments that keep me centered and grounded. And If I see a cardinal, I love cardinals. When I see a cardinal, it's like an automatic joyous moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really just, I mean, just telling you that, I can feel
Yep.
the adrenaline from that moment. And so finding margin
Yeah.
is so critical. Even if it's just a minute, it doesn't have to be a full day or an hour. Let's say you want to tithe your day, 24 hours, 2.4 hours tithed for the day.
Yep.
Okay, maybe it's just 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever. Just taking that moment to find those things that energize you. For some people, it's listening to a song.
Yeah.
For some, it's writing a quick note in a journal, reading a page, reading a devotional, whatever it is that you need, that puts that balance, that
Mhm.
margin in your day, that you hear the cha-ching on your app when
Yeah.
somebody purchases your something from you, a product. That's what you need to be doing with you, with that margin each day. Find that cha-ching that impacts you, that adds
Yeah.
value to you and gets you ready for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's good. I went on vacation. So this summer I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I maintain a healthy weight. I exercise and I eat healthy. I eat at home, and so man, I went through a really big struggle of, man, this isn't fair. And life's not fair, I discovered.
Mm,
And but I have been managing it really well. With I had got a good doctor with diet and exercise, been managing it pretty well. Well, we went on vacation, and I cheated a little bit on vacation, I admit. um my fasting blood sugar was consistently normal on vacation. Every single morning I woke up and I was like, I mean, for those of you guys that know or listening, it was like 89 most days, 89, 90, and that's a normal person. And I came back, and it shot back up 20 points,
mm,
and I was like, it just caused me to step back and be like, I have to do something, because I obviously can't go on vacation for all of my life, but I'd like to, but I can't. And so I have to do something to figure out how to maintain, life, to
mm,
live it, but to decrease that stress level. And we hear our doctors talking to us about stress levels all the time,
mm.
and I think, well, everything's going pretty good, so I'm not stressed. I'm good. And then you go on vacation, and you can't argue with those numbers. Like, I could not argue. And I came back and told my doctor I was really embarrassed. Those numbers just don't lie. I was on vacation, and it took a couple of days to really unwind. But man, that blood sugar was under control. I didn't have type 2 diabetes while I was on vacation. It's only in stress. And so it as and I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are struggling with their health, and we let it go by and let it and somehow, what is it if we build a business and somehow lose ourselves, like, what is the gain? What if we come to this and we get to the end, and the end game for most business owners is to sell that business, right? Is to get it ready to sell, because you don't
Mm.
want to do it till you're 110 generally. And so what is it? What if you sell that business, if you're able to get there and you sell that business, but you can't go anywhere because your health stinks so bad? We failed ourselves. We failed our families, so
Yeah, yeah. I heard one person say that it's hard to dominate your industry if you're dead.
that's right. Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it's hard to reach your full potential if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm stepping on my own toes when I say that. I'm getting back into my exercise routine because I really realize how important it is to my whole mental state, my emotional state, my spiritual state. I feel there's and I feel the creativity that shows up when I
Yes.
exercise too. And even though we know all of that, there's still those moments where we just kind of say, you know what, I can take a day off. Yeah,
Yep.
you know, take a day off if you're going hard all the time. Yeah, I mean, I've run marathons. If you don't take a day off, you're going to be hard broke at some point. You've got to give the body some rest and recovery.
Yeah.
But You can't take months off and expect to be where you were before. And so I'm
Yeah.
getting back started again. Just right now, it's walking, just getting out and
Yeah.
walk,
Yeah.
doing some push-ups
Yeah.
and some body exercises just to get the body going.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to let go.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about the magic of delegation.
Okay.
Let's talk about so I know for me that and I'm a very new entrepreneur. It's hard to let go and delegate because you hold on to the quality. Okay, so how do you go through it with your clients to talk about delegation so that you have to be able to, as a entrepreneur, get out of the day to day,
Hmm.
get out of the minutia, because you can't see the big picture if you're still in here doing. You can't see the forest if you are in the trees. And so how do you coach through that to where people can delegate?
A couple of questions that I ask in those moments is uh, the first one, it comes down to trust. So a lot of times, I think the reason we don't delegate is because we don't trust, and it's an element of faith.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so the question I often ask when people struggle with delegation is, what's your greatest fear?
Yeah.
What's
It's
your
good.
greatest fear? And also, a question I'll ask is if you keep doing this, what are you giving up in order to keep doing this?
Yeah.
What's not getting done? What are you choosing to let go if you're going to continue to not delegate?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because in order to get to where you want to go, you got to do things you've never done. And in a delegation case, it's trusting someone else to do something that is either you might be really good at it,
Yeah.
but most of the times with entrepreneurs, we're not good at everything. And so our fear is control. If I
Yeah.
let somebody else do this, now it's out of my control. I got to trust them to do it. Can I trust them to do that? That's a great question to ask, and that's why it's
Yeah.
important that you know your people that you are bringing onto your team,
Yep.
or that are experts in. For me, you're a person I need to know well, because
Yep.
when it comes to business, I can do all the other stuff, but the accounting, the
Hmm.
finances, the books, those are critical, and you need somebody
Yep.
you can trust that can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You need two things to be able to delegate effectively. You need people,
Hmm.
amazing people. And if you don't have amazing people, there's one of two problems. Either you've got the wrong person on the team or you're just not leading them and teaching them.
Yeah.
And so it's on you either way. And you need processes. You
Yes.
need people and you need processes. And as a business owner, as a leader, it might be on you. For me in the first year, it's been on me to create those processes
Hmm.
and to get the right people on my team. For me, it's been I do it once, but I record it and I write the standing operating procedure for it, an SOP for it, and then I pass it on. And then I teach somebody else how to do it. I watch them do it, and then I let them do it. And because they're amazing, because they're freaking amazing people, they can do that. And if I don't let them, they're going to leave. They don't want to be somewhere where they're doing just stupid work, being treated like a stupid person.
Exactly. And they don't and if they're trained to do it, and that's what they're made to do, that's what they're called to do, they're gifted to do, you're actually
Yep.
taking that away from them.
Yep. Yep.
And that's so important. The way that you describe that is perfect. And I would add another P. You got to have a plan.
Yeah.
And one more P, pray.
Yeah.
If you really struggle with
Yeah.
letting it go for somebody else to do, then you've got to pray.
Yeah.
Pray it, and if you got to check in, let them know you're checking in. Let them
Hmm.
know how frequently you're going to check in, but don't be checking in every 10 minutes every day, or don't
Yeah.
micromanage. And I
Right.
think that's one of the fears entrepreneurs have when they start letting things go is they want to micromanage, because there's letting go of control invites a sliver of chaos to show up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, in the financial realm, when I come across entrepreneurs, leaders that are exhausted, they are overwhelmed with finances.
Mhm.
Often it is because they don't have a process in place to be able to delegate. And most of the time, I hear the story, well, I let somebody do it one time and they committed fraud, or they stole
Mhm.
from me, or they did this wrong. And so the magic there is there needs to be a process and there needs to be accountability. And so, one of the things that I help people set up is the way that to fraud proof your business, if you
Mhm.
will. A lot of times, I've had business owners that just they find somebody, and a lot of times it's a relative or a friend or somebody, or somebody that knew somebody or something, and they let them have the keys to the castle, all the keys. Well, you don't give everybody the keys to the castle. You give them a key to this door, not to the whole. You don't give them the master key. And so there's very specific things that you can do to set up processes to where you have somebody able to do something, but make sure that there is the accountability sake there and you know what you're doing. And so one of the things that we do with our clients is make sure that they know what they're looking at so that they know if somebody's doing something funny,
Mhm.
and I'll explain to them how to find those funny things. That's something that we're good at, is finding those funny things. So good. I love doing that. I love talking about it. I love entrepreneurs got to take time off. And if you can't take time off, all you've got is a job with no PTO benefits.
Mhm.
And it's not going to last in the long run. And I'm kind of like Coach Dennis here, like ask the hard questions. What's the end game? If you keep going like this, how's it going to look? What's your marriage going to look like? Where are your kids? How are they doing? How's your house? Like, have you mowed the lawn lately? Just things like that. Like, we got to take care of stuff. And if you've created a business that you have to be at all the time, then you have a really, really demanding job and something's got to give, right?
Right.
And something will give at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. The stretching is there. And, that delegation piece that you described, the problem that some people always, oh, I'm delegating this. No, what you're doing is you're giving it away and you're giving all ownership and responsibility to the
Right.
person. And, you're dumping the problem, and we call it in the military, fire and forget.
Oh, yeah.
You're firing it off, you're forgetting about it, and then it comes back to haunt you because there was no accountability, there was no process, no plan. It was, oh, this person can take this from me, yay, and you just dump it all on them. I
Right.
mean, that
It's
that
abdication, not delegation. Yeah.
yes, yes, and as a leader, you might be able to delegate the task, but ultimately you can't delegate the responsibility.
Nope.
It's all
It's
on
still,
you.
it's, yeah, it's still on you. That's so good. I love it. So good. Any final words about delegation? Final wisdom.
you know the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, is really helpful here. And
Okay.
I got to give credit to John Maxwell here because he opened my eyes to this. If somebody can do what you do at 80%, that's a good gauge to delegate. That because the 20% is probably the art of what you do, and you can train them on if they can do 80%, that's great. If they come into the art of what you do, that's where you can train them on the art and how you see things differently. You're not spending as much time with them because they know what they're doing, they know the basics and some beyond skills, but when they get into the art of what you do, that's when you can recreate and train an artist.
Yeah, that's good. And sometimes they might surprise you and do it better.
Exactly. And I want that. If
Yes.
you can do it better than I can,
Mhm.
please take it.
Yeah. Yep.
Take it.
Yeah. I pray for, and every leader should be praying for team members that are smarter than you.
Hmm.
Because if you get to the point where you don't want anybody on your team that's smarter than you, you've got an issue. And there's never going to be growth past you.
No.
And you're amazing. I'm amazing, but I'm not that amazing.
Mm-mm.
I
Uh,
need some people on my team that are smarter than me in some areas.
please, yeah. And if you're a leader that's that way, your lid is pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
and people are going to do this. And if they keep doing this, you know what they're going to do? They're going to
You're gonna
exit.
leave.
They're
Yeah.
going to leave, and the people that stay with you. You got to ask, why are they staying?
Yep.
I want people. I
Yeah.
want people to challenge me. I want people to grow past me. My military career, just leading, I wanted people to promote past me. I wanted them
Yep.
to do amazing things. It's not about me. It's
Mhm.
about them.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
servant leadership right there. It's all about them. It's not about me, it's about them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I love that. So good. I like the term servant leadership.
I do
It's
too.
not used a lot in the secular world, but it's definitely used in the kingdom a lot. And it means serving yourself last. There's a book, Leaders Eat Last.
That's
Um,
Simon Sinek. Yes.
yeah,
It's amazing.
and it just makes sure that everyone in your team is fed and taken care of, and leaders eat last. It's just the concept of just serving and asking the team members, "How are you? How
Yeah.
are things going?"
And listen.
And
Listen
listen.
for the answer. I describe servant leadership this way. It's meet people where they are, love them for who they are. And the
Mm.
transformational servant leadership is you don't leave them where they are.
Ooh, that's good. It's good. I love that. So good. Thanks, Dennis. I love this. Love this. Me and you could talk all day about delegation. I'm really
Sure.
excited. I think that you and me are going to do some more talking about this. I hope. I think we can partner together and do some stuff. Um, I want to know. This is one question I ask everybody on this interview series because um, being an entrepreneur is a hard walk.
Mhm.
It's not for the faint at heart.
No.
It is sometimes even lonely. So I want to ask, what has been a bad day for you, and how did you get over it?
Wow. A bad day for me, there I can think of a couple things. Number 1, being sick. I do not like to be sick. And so when I'm sick and I've got to cancel appointments and all that is miserable. So that's one. That's one right
Yeah.
there because now I can't do what I do and I don't like to be sick. And my wife tells me she doesn't like me to be sick either because I'm just
No.
no.
Yes.
So I don't like to be sick. But the other thing is a bad day for work for me is a as a coach going through the process of vetting a client and having the conversation and we start the journey and you realize through the journey that this isn't a match. This isn't a It's not that I can't serve them or help them or that I can add value to them, but right away it's two positive magnets that's not coming together and you realize it. And that's a
Yeah.
bad day for me because you go through a lot of time and energy to make sure you do that, and then you discover right away this isn't a good fit, and you have to approach that person and say and apologize and let them know, hey, this isn't a fit,
Hmm.
and have to end the coaching relationship that way. To
Hmm.
try to fix that for me, to fix that bad day is having a network of coaches that I believe would be a great fit for them and making the warm referral and connection for
Yes.
them.
Yeah, that's good. I had a potential client call me one time that was he said I own a few baking companies. And I was like, that's weird. Why isn't he calling them bakeries? And so we get through this whole entire conversation. Really nice guy, really sweet guy, like, one of those that's like, oh, I like this guy. He's nice. I want nice clients. And their businesses are making money. I also like clients that are making money.
True.
And so we're like having this great conversation. I was like, okay, well, I'll email you some stuff. What's your email? Well, he tells me his email, and it's at something something vaping, VAPING. He's not. I thought he was baking muffins. They are vaping, and which is like electronic cigarettes, and I don't even know.
Yes.
And so I hung up that call, and I just was like, I don't know if this is the right client for me. We're new in business though, Dennis. Like we're like basically everybody's our potential client. We're not niche down yet. We haven't decided, but at the beginning, you could just kind of take anybody that walks in and has some money, we'll take you. And so me and my husband talked about it, and I was like, maybe it'll be a funny story someday. We'll be like, hey, our first client was this vaping, and stuff. Well, we decided, let's bring it to the family. We'll have a family talk. So we have 3 teenagers, and we brought
Mm,
it to the family. I said, what do you guys think? And unanimously, our kids said, Mom, it just doesn't reflect our family values. And God will provide other clients that align with our family values, but that
mm,
doesn't. Man, my kids had more faith than I did in that moment. But so I mean, I couldn't go back to him and go with him, I had to go with our family values. We taught these kids these family values. But I had that call with him, and I said, listen, you deserve someone that is 1,000% on your side.
mhm,
I can never be 1,000% on your side. I have teenagers. Your business does not reflect our family values. And let me refer you to a few people that would be absolutely on your side and that I know do a really great job. And you know what, Dennis, his response was like, thank you so much for your honesty. I really appreciate it. If I come across anybody that does align, I'll be sending them your way. Like, he so much appreciated that. And it made my heart bleed. But at the same time,
mm.
I would have done us both a disservice. I would have been miserable working with him, and he would have been miserable working with me. There was no way that relationship was going to work. And so I just blessed him in Jesus' name and let him go on his merry way and do his business. But it is absolutely a hard thing when you realize this isn't going to work.
Yes, it is, especially if you've made the commitment up front, like you've beyond. And
Yeah.
that's that's a tough place to be. That's a tough place for, like you said, any business when you're getting started and trying to make the finances and payments and all that, and being true to your values and being true to who you are and hopefully discovering your niche and going back to everybody's our neighbor.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's our neighbor. So it's like, okay, Lord, which neighbor do you want me to serve today? I can't serve all of them.
Mhm.
Who am I to serve today? Which
Yeah.
one are you drawing this way, and which one? And it's so important to be in tune with that, in,
Yeah.
in tune with who you are, in tune with who He is, and in tune with where He's working and how
Yeah.
He's inviting you to work with Him.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So good. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate it.
Oh, my
I
pleasure.
appreciate you being here. I can't wait to hear more of what you have to offer. I think that you could stand on the stage beside John and teach just as good.
Oh, wow,
I'll send him a
wow.
letter and tell him. I think that I would listen to you. I think that's awesome. I'm sure you have a few books inside of you too.
That that I've got a few on a sticky note that have popped up. Wow, that's I that's prophetic. I'll just put it that way. How's that? Wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. Love talking to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your friendship. Thanks for all that you offer to my audience today. If any of you are watching, I'll tag Dennis in this. You can contact him, have a conversation with him, follow him on LinkedIn. He's sharing some great insight. And as you can tell, he's hearing from God. And so, get in touch with him and contact him and become his friend, be in his circle. And then join me here next week. We're going to be this year. I'm really excited about some things that we're doing. We're going to be putting out a new podcast. In addition to this, we're going to be talking about personal finances, business finances. We're going to be talking about a lot of just I was talking to somebody the other day about marriage, and we were talking about the fact that that the church isn't really talking about sex and money a lot, and maybe giving offerings, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
Hmm.
about how to manage it and how to, the United States is in trouble. As a country, we're in trouble.
Mm,
Our national debt is growing, and our personal debt is growing. It is not going the other direction, and so something has to give, something has to change. And so I'm really excited. I've got some really great guests lined up that will bring the knowledge and just the transformation. So I'm really excited. So stick with us in 2025. We're going to have a good time. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate you.
absolutely. Penny, thank you for having me, and everybody out there, thanks. I appreciate you. And welcome your feedback. As Penny said on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
just come out there and Say you heard me on Penny Show and would love to spend time with you. Thank you for the opportunity.